exchange open like usual. We can probably just do like, until New York open or something like that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Do this, because this, I mean, I think most people in my group and also yours trades GJ anyway.
Yeah.
So we should be able to like trade, post news, see what ends up happening. I know they're going to be increasing rates here.
Hmm.
We go over here.
Good
Let's
morning,
see.
everybody.
Good morning,
Good morning.
How's it going?
Jamie. Good morning.
Well, Queen, when you're on this grind for somebody else, you got to jump when they say jump. So it's been a rough week.
Yeah.
Steph already knows.
Man, I can hear it.
Yeah,
You sound
yeah.
tired, man.
I am, I am. But you know what? That's okay. Right now, I'm on this grind for myself.
Oh
So
yeah,
this is the work we have to put in to get this done. So hey, we do it.
yes, sir.
There
Jamie's
you
always got the right attitude.
there you go.
So let me know when you get that done. We really are pricing in the rate hike right now on
Yep.
GJ.
We are good to go. So we can start with the technical breakdown, and then fundamentally we know that we're waiting on interest rates.
Sure, sure. Now, hello YouTube. Hope everyone's doing well over there. We are gonna start with the obviously a GJ breakdown. It's gonna be a nice quick breakdown because in 20 minutes we have the interest rate hike. So I have all of our historical levels marked off here, as you guys know. Right, we got 149, 156, 158, 160, which price is now holding as a support right now and currently bouncing off of, and then 168. Those yearly highs up here, you could draw zones in both these areas as major price points that price keeps rejecting. And ever since tapping into those yearly highs, what we've been doing is making those lower highs and then rejecting 166 over here multiple times, right? We came down, we rejected 168 for the last time, right? Held resistance at 166, pushed all the way back down to that 160 level. Came right back up to 166, had a hard rejection. Another one for the third time, hard rejection. Normally for those third times, after 3 times of rejecting resistance, you normally get that hard push and price starts breaking the previous support, or people like to call them necklines. But right now, ever since tapping into 160, we've been printing consecutive, very bullish candles. So the fundamentals and technicals met up right at this level, knowing that they're probably going to be increasing rates over here, right? And this was all from the strength in the Japanese yen. So now they're really pricing in, as you get pricey this morning, the rate hike this morning. So we're just pushing up currently around 163,500. I'm going to go down to the 4 hour, start marking some levels off.
That is one of the reasons why yesterday I mentioned that, like, leading up to the news, it's going to be a lot of market sentiment. And so unless there's a crazy hike, or we maintain the interest rates or something that we weren't already expecting happens, that's really the only time that I expect any sort of massive movements. Other
Yep.
than that, we're already pricing that in. So I mean, I am expecting movements happening right when the news release, but nothing extremely crazy, because we're already setting up for it.
Yep. And that's typically what happens with U.S. interest rates, AUD, CAD, all of these news events that people are looking forward to coming out. A lot of it's priced in. People already, and banks, institutions, they already expect the rate hike. They already know it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then what you do is you basically buy the rumor, sell the fact. So I marked off a few levels over here, 161,500, which we've been holding as a higher low so far, and was a previous support to the left as well, right? Price comes up, taps into this previous resistance of 163, right? Rejects, but holds a higher low right here, right? And then ever since then, price has been pushing up. We got a nice 4 hour bullish candle close, right? Pricing a lot of this in. Now our next resistance up here, previous support, is 163,800. right? So are we going to end up rejecting that area or pushing up right at 7 a.m.? Maybe possibly pushing through it, faking it out, coming back down to this area to retest, and then continuing up? It really depends. But again, this could just be the rumor that they were increasing rates. Once it does, we get that push up, and then we get the further push down, right? Because as we've been creating these lower highs over here, we've been creating lower lows, right? So can we find some kind of a resistance after they increase rates and then continue back down? Looking at the 1 hour, 1 hour's holding that support right in this area. You got a clean move to the left, which you had here. I'm just going to clean these zones up. Where is that part of the rectangle? Ah, there it is. So clean that up, make it a little bit thinner. So what you ended up getting here with a clean move to the left. Let's hold this higher low. Clean move to the left. You got this candle close above that area, right? You got a strong bullish candle bounce off that area again for the third time, right? Bounces off that area, get the close above that area, and an impulse entry could be as price creates that bottom way, passes the high of the previous candle to continue up. That's the move I was looking for yesterday, if we were going to get it. We never really got that. Price just kind of pushed up, ended up rejecting, and then we got a further pullback, right? Where were we yesterday? Here we go. Yesterday got that further pullback right here, and then price continued up. But then it kind of just consolidated all day, right? So I never entered GJ yesterday. But what you have here is now the clean support being held. Price closing above that level the way I like, with a clean move to the left. This would have been a great move to take, but you got the interest rates coming out. You sending all the charts. Good job, Woga. Keep sending these. So again, I'm looking at this resistance right here as a possible rejection. Once price ends up, they increase rates, or we push through that area, right, and possibly continue up. You got another resistance and clean move to the left as well, right around 164,500. So we could possibly push up to that area as well. But again, wait for the news to come out, wait for your setup to present itself, and then, probably around 30 minutes after the increase, that's where you could take your trade and trade the trend. Alright, so I think we got to do that in 7 minutes. It's good. Sharma, do you want to add anything?
No, I'm pretty much, I think this is a good trade setting up for a quick scalp, but you'll be trading the market sentiment right now.
You're saying right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so because you're trading the market sentiment, if you're not used to it, kind of stay out of it. This is more like a paper trade if you've never traded interest rates before. But the way that I would have taken this is you have your hourly resistance being formed here. So as soon as this breaks, your stop loss right here, and then you have a quick trade coming up here.
So you would put your stop loss right here and take it right here?
Yeah, and then your take profit up top here, and if you want to let runners go, you could do that and maybe secure some partials around this level.
Yeah, you got some great volume right there.
Yeah.
My thing is, it's mainly with gold that I don't like trading right before the news comes out.
Yeah.
Or the economic data comes out, but I think right here, this would have been a great trade for you.
Bottom wick rejection and price continues pushing up. There you go.
Yep. And you could have a tighter stop loss being that this is the 1 hour, right?
Yeah.
So you can have it either under this candle or possibly even under that candle. It's just giving yourself a little bit more room for error and giving yourself the ability to actually, what is this?
No idea, it just popped up.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Oh, I think I copied an image. That's weird. So, wow, that's kind of cool actually. So yeah, this would have been my setup, especially on the 1 hour. You could have had your tighter stop loss below that candle. If you look at the 30 minute and the 15 minute, see if that would have made sense. Got that candle close above, waited for the bottom wick to form, passing the high of this wick right here as well, and you have the volume and the sentiment that price is gonna be, or that the bank is gonna increase its rate. So
Yeah.
That gives you that bullish volume and the pre-New York volume to take this thing out during London. Quinn, are you with us? I think you were going to make a sandwich or something.
No, I'm with.
All right, cool. So, do you see how I would have caught this?
Yeah,
Quinn was asking this before.
Yeah.
So this is
well,
something that you could journal over
because
here.
I had my resistance at 163 flat also, so because on the 30 minute it's a bit higher on the most recent high.
Yeah. No, you could definitely draw it right there. Yeah, you're actually right.
So it
Yeah,
was a bit more tricky on the 30 minute to see if the candle closed above or not.
100%. Now, if you're taking this based on the 30-minute, this could have also worked out, right? Where you're getting all this bullish volume over here. You get this close, then this candle creates this bottom wick and passes the high of that candle.
Yeah,
You could have
okay.
potentially taken this. Maybe I would have put a wider stop loss. But if you're looking at this on the 1 hour,
Yeah,
you really wouldn't even need to. Um, you really wouldn't even need to drop down to the 30-minute because you have these candle body closes here. We keep projecting this area, but you ended up getting this candle right here. So once this candle closed clearly and engulfed the previous candle bodies here to the left, you could have waited for this wick to be formed. Okay, we're respecting the low of this candle. We're respecting this whole area, and we're now passing the high of that candle. All right, let me just take this thing out. Make sense?
yeah, makes sense definitely. On the 1 hour, it's much more clear.
Yes, sir. This is something great for you to journal here. Let's take a look at a few charts before we get to gold. All right, Borga took this 30-minute setup over here. I'm guessing this was this morning. I like this. Where's the annotation?
Once
I
you're
like
done
the-
with the gold breakdown, I'll send you my chart as well of the gold trade that I took yesterday in Asian
Okay.
session.
Okay. You may have taken the same one I did.
Yeah, I still have it running right now.
Yeah, me too.
Perfecto.
So you have, I'm looking at this wick right over here that you could possibly reject, because if you look at the price action right after that, you're in this right now, Borga? Don't be afraid to speak up unless you don't have a mic. But again, you have this resistance right here, you got the support right over here that was held with this bullish candle, right? Candle pretty much respects that support, flips bullish past the high over here, and price continues up with, I don't want to say clean price action, but you could definitely, anticipate this thing continuing up, especially with the, the way gold has been pushing since last night. You had some clean candles over here. So at this point, I'd probably be securing somewhere around this area, pretty much where price is at now. You get that resistance. And then you got that resistance right there where price ends up rejecting with that wick. But I think, if anything, I would definitely be at least, what's it called, securing right at this point. But I think this is great, man. Or at least going break even and seeing price. But I think if you don't go break even and leave price, give yourself room to breathe. Because once you go break even, your psychology gets a little bit tighter. It gets a little more anxious because your stop loss, so you don't have as much room to breathe. So if you just secure a little piece of this here, maybe 25, 50%, and let the rest run, I think that'd be a good idea. Let's see, GU. All right. Oh, I like this too. So what you ended up getting was this higher low here, almost like a fake out of this level, right? Strong bullish candle, above this resistance right here. Then we come right back down and grab a higher low, strong bullish candle right here. And I'm not sure which candle you entered on, whether it was impulse or after this one closed. But I think after this candle closed right here, and then you got this candle right here, you could have waited for this one to create a bottom wick past the high, and you could have had a tighter stop loss right below that wick, but a few pips below, giving yourself a little bit of room, right? Because now you have a tighter R to R, almost a 3 R to R. coming back up to this area.
You want to go over gold real quick, Stefanos? We have 5 minutes before the news comes out.
Yes. All right. So, Donnie, great job sending your chart over there. We'll take a look at it in a second. So, with gold over here, what we ended up getting here was support being held in our area, right? And then price came back down to that area for the one more time before price continued back up. And if you remember what we said yesterday, if price is going to react to a key level on gold, a lot of times, like if you have this trend line here, a lot of times price is going to tap into that area multiple times or consolidate in that area before continuing down. And that's kind of what I was playing yesterday, right? When I was looking at that, I was actually first looking at it when I sent the breakdown originally. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to touch gold tonight. And then I really started looking at it over here with how we bounced off our support right here. Just trying to do this quickly for you guys. Bounced off that 1754 level for the final time. We get the bullish candles closing in this area. We create this high. We create a higher low right over here, right, with this bullish candle on the 1 hour. And then the 30-minute looks beautiful. 30-minute looked great, where you had the high being formed right here. Price comes down, higher low formed at 1763.100, and then you get this bullish candle close, engulfing candle, great engulfing candle close. Waited for the bottom wick on this candle, past the high of the previous, right here, right here on the 30-minute, taking advantage of that 1 hour, or the Asian volume around 9 o'clock over here, and I took price right up with a clean move to the left, fully anticipating us to tap into at least 1772, right? And I was on the road at this time, so I didn't have a chance to mark off where I secured. So ended up securing one position at 1-to-1 over here, letting the other one run for about 2-to-1 right up to this resistance up here, and then eventually the last one I secured right at 1772 before going to bed right over here around 12 o'clock. I got home. It's actually a good secure right there, and then I just went break even. So I got to journal this and post it today. Posting all my trades from the past few days on Instagram today. So now the other one's just running. So now, let me just get rid of all this for you. Got 3 minutes left. Looking at the 4 hour, again, we're coming right up to that 1785 area. Look to the left, you got previous wicks in that area as well, right there and right there. Nothing's really stopping it from continuing up that area other than this trend line. So we could, if anything, we could possibly create a lower high over here and then end up rejecting and coming back down to this area, or coming back down even further. But there's nothing really telling you that that's going to happen yet. You're just guessing that. Get rid of that alert. Looking at the 1 hour. 1 hour is just creating these higher lows, higher highs, respecting the previous low, right? Got a fairly clean move over here to the left to come right up to 1785. 30-minute looks very much like GJ over here, holding a higher low over here and continuing up. Right? I think a lot of this push could have to do with China right now, kind of threatening Taiwan. I think they were really starting to move in, something like that I saw this morning. But something like, what did I see this morning? About 2 minutes left.
there was news about China pretty much moving on with the sanctions and the military actions and stuff like that after Pelosi landed in Taiwan, even though everyone, even people at the White House, were telling her to postpone her trip, but she continued moving forward.
Yeah. I really want to know what's going on in the White House and why she actually did that, and how what's his face was speaking about not supporting Taiwan independence and they were saying, well, she went over there and she supports Taiwan independence, and he goes, yeah, well, the Speaker of the House speaks for herself. We do not support Taiwan independence, which is like, where's the miscommunication? What's going on here? Like that could spark something. Could spark a war.
Yep. So the news is about to come out here in a couple of seconds. Just like a quick fundamental update. Just tap onto the fundamental analysis real quick. Yes. So half basis point hike. Yeah, that's what we're kind of expecting to happen from Bank of England. That's what the market is pricing in right now. Of course, I do expect a reaction to that news, but another important thing to watch out here is going to be the monetary policy summary and their report, and also what Bank of England Governor Bailey is going to be saying, because outright the entire sentiment is as soon as they increase the interest rates and the path that they're on with quantitative tightening and everything like that, the economy is headed for a recession, and that is something that a lot of economies are facing, not just the UK or not just the US. So we did get that basis point hike here. We did get that 1.75. If you want to refresh the page real quick, Stefanos.
Just wanted to show the chart real quick. Do this. So we ended up getting that spike out and then reacting to that level that we have. Yep, exactly as expected. No surprise there. So we ended up tapping into that area over here, right? And are we rejecting it? If you guys look at the 30 minute right now is now flipping bearish. So this is where it's a perfect example of just buying the rumor and selling the fact. Your TP would have been hit right there on that area. What I would have done is, if you were in a trade like this, I would have just gone break even and let my TP be hit like that, and that would have been a perfect trade for you from London.
Again, just wait for the reaction to the news. This is something that I would drop down to the 5-minute time frame for. Like, that is something I would be comfortable with. Just wait for the first 5 minutes to close here, and then if price continues breaking below this blue zone, then you have those sell opportunities that you can look for. The purpose for waiting for this 5-minute candle close is because you're going to see the volatility, but also you're going to see better opportunities for an entry, but also risk management, like your stop loss and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of just wait for it.
You're looking for that 5-minute retest right here?
Not like a retest, but I just want to see this candle close in the zone or below it, and the following candle just take you back down.
Okay. I'm saying like at least a top wick rejection.
Yeah.
That's a lot of volume right there. So that was all pretty much called as far as rejecting this level over here. Getting a hard rejection.
This is the fun part.
Yep. This here.
Martinez GJ was the first trade breakdown that we did. So hopefully you were able to catch that. And then we moved on to gold.
So, Donnie, you took this. We had the bullish candle close above, London volume push, entered on the 15-minute high after the support was held. So right here?
Yeah, that's right. So if you drop down to the 15-minute, it closed and then it passed the previous highs, and I entered just as that 30-minute there. That bullish candle right there. Sorry, I got the kid here. But I entered as it passed those highs on the left.
Okay.
And it did give me a little bit of trouble there, like with that next bearish close. But it ended up going in my favor. But there was a better entry, I believe, like just about an hour later, just after that bearish candle to your right.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
After this candle closed?
Yeah, I think that would have been a better spot to get in.
Yeah, I would just be careful of this entry with this indecision candle without the news coming out. Like the fact that we had the volume is what really helped you here. But a lot of times that could end up hurting you right there because you're rejecting that 400 level right here, and you got the indecision candle. We ended up getting the rejection. I could see us pushing up this way and then coming back down to that 163 level again. If you never get the news. Right, but since we did, price really pushed in your direction. So good job right here. So TP was hit, close 80%.
Yeah, 80%. Then I'd stop loss just taken out there as news release
Nice, man.
at break even. Yeah.
You got about a minute for the 5 minutes to close here. The 1 minute looks good. If you were trading the 1 minute here, get that little rejection. Price ends up creating a top wick, passing the low of that candle. But let's see if we get a nice setup here in 5 minute. 5 minute has no bottom wick here.
So really what I want to see here on the 5-minute time frame for any GJ trades would be price pretty much passing below this entire area. So actually continue pushing down with some volume. We've made some top wick. A further up top wick would be preferable, but as it starts to push down, I would look for sell opportunities there and then try to secure something maybe along this way and then coming right down into the zone. But if price isn't able to clear below that area with volume, then can we push right back up? And this is simply a reaction to just the half basis point hike. But more than that, because the half basis point hike for the majority has been priced in, we have been pricing that in for the last 30 minutes or so. This is also a reaction to the growing recession fears that as you continue to increase interest rates, obviously with other economic factors in place, that's pretty much your trade right there playing out, and then you would be securing something around this level, and then as price continues pushing, kind of let your trade go, right, and minimize your risk. But along with the recession fear, it's also the different quantitative easing policies that are going to be coming out, and how is that going to be translated into the economy.
I think this is a perfect chart representation of what exactly we were expecting and what exactly happens with those fundamentals that Sharma was just talking about. Like you're pricing in the increase, right? And then all of a sudden you tap into that previous resistance right here, right? Doesn't have enough strength to continue pushing up. And then plus, if you see the price action yesterday, how we were just kind of slowly working our way up. They knew they were going to increase rates, but at the same time, didn't have enough volume to really push us up because we knew that, once you're going to get something like this once they increase the rates, right? So that's how I interpret that. We ended up getting these 3 taps at this area, actually 4, and then prices took off. And then we ended up getting the news, rejecting the 800 level, and now we're just continuing back down. So I'm looking for more of my setup on the higher time frames over here, at least the 15 minute. And I could really wait for the news to come out. Plus, we took the gold trade last night. So there's no, interestness to just jump into this.
Does anyone have any questions, or I hope you guys were able to enter that trade as I was talking. Yeah.
So this is your gold entry.
Yeah, gold entry here. Now I'm waiting for a scale-in opportunity. Same thing, trading based off the 5 minute. Just took an entry actually here on the 5 minute.
Nice. Let's actually go for the gold.
So as he's moving on to gold, we're just looking at GJ right now. So that should be where you guys should be taking some partials if you haven't already, and then securing your trade, managing your risk somehow.
I think this would have been a good if you were anticipating the further drop over here. This could have been a possible entry for you. Just write this down. And once it starts clearing that area that Sharma was just talking about, maybe just go and break even, and then secure it.
Only concern was price wicking around above the zone, and then possibly just holding on to a support and then continue pushing from there. Because as soon as price breaks below that zone, that's when you have that break of short-term bullish structure, and then a continuation down.
Damn, look at GJ. We're moving. So who got this? Is anyone in this right now? Nobody? Devil. Okay. KB, beautiful. Good job, guys. What are you guys thinking in this? In this time right now, while you're in this trade? What's going through your mind, KB? Maybe you'd like to hop on the mic. Good job, Devil. Okay. Yes, sir. Right there. Nice healthy top wick as well. Even though this candle closed with no bottom wick, that's good because you got the momentum continuing down. And then you get the top wick right here. You pass the low, and then you're off. So can we get some kind of a continuation down here? Let's look at the higher time frames now. Higher time frames taps into this area. We increase rates. A lot of this was priced in. We already have this lower low over here, right? That was created from, from these lower highs that were created as well. Now, can we form a resistance and then continue back down? 4 hour. 4 hour. You have safe sells below this area in the higher time frames, right? So you got about, at least on the 4 hour. You got about 115 pips in here that you could take advantage of if you get that close below. 1 hour? 1 hour gets a little bit more choppy, right? But if you get like a 1 hour or 30-minute close below 400 right here, price like retests or holds that resistance and continues down, that could be a great trade, right? Or just price holds some kind of a resistance in here, and then you take advantage of price continuing down.
I'll be right back.
Sure. Great job, guys. I'm just gonna adjust this. That might be a cleaner area because you got the support, you got this wick rejection here, and then price just reacted to this area so far down here. So you have this previous resistance and support. Once you break that, that's even safer sells with a clean move to the left. So I'd say in here, you got about 100 pips if you get the close below this level. I think volume could possibly take us down more. But then you got the about 70 pips in this area, as this is like a green area. That's what I like to call. Save down here. This would be like an orange area. So let's see where we're at on gold. Gold now rejecting the area so far in the 15-minute. 30-minute looks good, but 30-minute passed the high right away, right? And it's now flipping bearish. So can we be, kind of stalling out in this area like I was saying? And everything's bullish, so I don't want to say anything yet until price possibly continues up. But let's look at gold over here for GJ. See, the 1 minute is holding that resistance. You got the pullback, price created the top wick, past the low of that candle right there. Could that be a move for you? I'm just live back testing this. I'm not jumping in this. But I want to see if price just tanks from here. I feel like after tapping into the support, that would kind of be, almost like a FOMO trade, where like you missed a lot of this, missed some of the news move and the reaction to the news, waiting that 5 minutes. That could be kind of like a greedy trade right there. It's a nice demand zone anyway. Just be yeah, I don't know. It's looking great. I can act on it, but let's see. Any questions? I'm not on YouTube. Let me go on YouTube to see if you guys have any. See, give me this setup all day on the 30-minute, right? Especially if we get a top wick formed past the low of that wick and the volume that we have right now. That should be a setup that you guys look for all the time. Good morning, Dan Pelosi. Thoughts on GJ? She's leaving office soon. She don't do no. Yeah. I don't think she's leaving any office anytime soon because she's got her power and that's all she wants. Can someone help me with the MT4 on the PC? Pauline, what's going on with your MT4? Was nervous on the entry and DJ just watching. Good job. Listen, this is, if you're nervous about these setups, right? If you're nervous about trading news, you don't want to trade news. Maybe you caught a trade last night like me. I'm not necessarily scared of trading news, but I caught a nice trade last night on gold. I'm not looking to blow those profits trading news here. And that's happened way too many times in my earlier career where like I would have a great trade during Asian, try trading news the next day, and it just doesn't work out, right? So as you go through it, you start to cut things out. You start to make rules for yourself. You have a trading plan, and in that trading plan, you need to have your rules. And there should be no, what's the word? I don't know the word for it, but basically no deviating from your rules. That should be your number one rule as a trader because that's all you have, right? The market moves the way it wants to move. It doesn't care what you think or do. So, and also you can't control the market either. So as long as you have your rules, that gives you confidence behind your trading, right? So again, if I take a nice trade, a nice running trade right now on gold, I'm not going to be trying to trade the news the next day unless I get a setup on my other time frames and I just trade the trend later on, right? Kind of like NFP. If NFP comes out, they increase rates, right? I wait around 30 minutes and I wait till around what is it? Around not NFP, is it interest rates? Fed FOMC. So once the FOMC their statement comes out, you got 2:30. The statement comes out around 3 o'clock. That's where I like to start trading the trend on the higher time frames. Right. So you just wait for your setups, stay patient. But if these are things that you want to start catching, who is it? Martinez. So Martinez, if this is something you want to start catching, start taking notes and putting this in your journal of what ended up happening here. Point out here how the rate hike was priced in. Point out how we ended up rejecting this level, and as Sharma was saying, the expectation of a recession or just a really bad economy in Great Britain as a whole, as well as the world. But with Great Britain, that's where you're starting to see this rejection. You got the price in, and then eventually you just sell the news, right? Buy the rumor, sell the news, and now later on, or actually right now, what you can do is look at the 15-minute, go down to the 5-minute, okay? What Sharma was pointing out with this top wick, you start to clear this area out, and then how do you catch this move right here? Where would your stop loss be? Where would your entry be? Now, too many people are lazy to do that. So, take advantage of that. That's why most people fail, because they don't feel like doing that stuff.
Also remember that in a couple of minutes you're going to have the Governor Bailey speaking, And so obviously whatever he says is also going to have an impact on GJ or any GBP pair in general, because in these speeches they tend to give you an outlook of where the economy is headed. What's the sentiment like?
Yep. Yeah, so we just got a low created. If you think price is going to continue down and you got a clean move to the left, if you get some kind of resistance formed here, at least on the 15-minute, that could possibly be a nice trade for you. Yeah, that could be possible, Martinez. Could be the end of it. But we'll see.
Right.
Check on gold over here. Gold's still pushing up. With that 15-minute close in this area. Right, we rejected it, but we're in a bullish trend. And if we hold this support, a lot of times this wick gets filled.
Any questions from anyone about the trades, risk management, fundamentals, anything?
We got 16 on YouTube, 20 on Zoom. Keep growing these numbers. Guys, if you like hanging out with us on here on YouTube, just please share the word and spread it. The more people you do, the more people we can help, and the bigger the community we can grow. So, helps us, helps you.
Steph, you're not getting entry?
What was that?
Did you not get an entry?
Nah, I'm waiting actually over here. Let's see. I want to see some kind of I want to wait for the press conference, wait for some kind of resistance to form, possibly in that 800 level right here. We got a low created. That's exactly what my rules are. Like I don't really trade news. I do seldomly if it makes sense. Like NFP,
Yeah.
sometimes I've seen NFP enough. I've seen let's see, I've seen CPI enough. I've to actually trade it or to trade the or FOMC. I've seen that many times, so I can pretty much trade that. But right now, again, with the psychology of already catching this entire move right here, one could say, yeah, you can compound the profits from this into this, but at the same time, these are the lower time frames against my rules. So I'm just not going to trade it. I'm just going to sit back and watch it.
No, that's it. You have to stick to your rules, man.
Yeah. It's the most important thing.
There's a question: are the movements in the market same when there are no changes in interest rates and when there is either negative or positive? So same in the sense that the volatility that we just saw. Is that what you're talking about?
I flew like last. You're getting a nice little bounce off this area right here. So 162, 400 ended up holding that support. That's why we didn't execute on that. This was the move for the news. I'm not saying that we can't catch a move to continue down here, but this was the move, like really on the 1 minute. He stalled out right here, ended up breaking resistance right here, pushing up. Right now, price is holding support so far. We ended up rejecting that area on around 700. Guys, all these time frames are the same. This is just a much weaker time frame, right? So price action is all the same. So if you end up getting price breaking back below this area, that is still a fake out, and price could very well continue down from here.
The sentiment for any pound pair is still negative. Just for the currency, the pound, because let me go ahead and drop this article here, Stefanos, if you could pull that up, please. And I'll also drop the same one in the YouTube chat. If you guys want to take a look at that. And then scroll down, please.
How far?
There's like a world map, and then right underneath that. Yeah, just a little bit more. A bit more. Under the advertisement. There you go. So here, you could go through the entire article and, you would pretty much see what the sentiment here is. This entire article was about, this came out right after the interest rates came out right now. And so here the sentiment is that CPI is going to continue, where inflation is going to continue for the remaining of 2023. But also, look at, this is again, market sentiment being played by fundamentals. So look at this part here, where families are said to be around 5% worse off by the end of 2023, with incomes falling both this year and next year, sharpening of cost of living crisis, right, where you're going to see the real disposable income fall more than at any time around 60 years. Price gains will remain elevated throughout 2023. Nothing about this is giving you optimism. Plus, increasing interest rates is giving you more fears of recessions, right? You have the cost of living increasing, you have income that's falling for people, you have inflation increasing, gas prices increasing, all of that. The sentiment here is still negative. Now, how do you see that translated onto the charts? Obviously, you're never going to see the price just, continuing down in one direction like this with no corrective moves. There always has to be corrective moves and then a continuation down. But overall, the fundamentals matter because that tells you where is price headed. Now, from a technical perspective, you have to line that up to look for your better entries.
How do you like this on the 5 minute?
So pull back, and then as it's continuing down, you would take the entry. You would pretty much take the same exact entry as we did when the news did come out. Entry was pretty much somewhere around here. Stop loss was here, right? Or that's a little bit too high for stop loss. Give me 1 second. So stop loss somewhere here, right above the top wick. Same thing, price created a resistance this time. Place the stop loss here. I would target the same exact area for any partials and then let runners go. Yeah, so to answer your question, Martinez, if the market is already pricing in the interest rate hikes, so for example, since the beginning of the year, we've been getting this news from all the officials in Bank of England and also at the Fed, and everybody in general, the economists, analysts, everybody talking about, there are going to be interest rate hikes, right? Half basis point hikes is what we're looking at. So since then, we have been pricing in, the market has been pricing in half basis point hikes. A really good example is recently, we were expecting the Federal Reserve to only do a half basis point hike, but they ended up doing a 75 basis point hike. So see how that's a difference between the news that was already being put out and what the market was getting ready for, but the actual was different from the forecast or the predicted. And so that's where we saw a lot of volatility in the market. That's when we saw great movements that we were not expecting. So if there are changes in interest rates that the market was not expecting, then there is going to be greater volatility. But usually around interest rates, the market prices in already, for the most part, the movement that's going to be happening, and then obviously there's a reaction to the news that comes out, because interest rates pretty much affect the entire economy in general.
Yep.
I hope that answers your question.
And then Tim, I think if you were taking this, you got that 5 minute close, top wick form, pass below that candle. To manage this, I think if you get on the 1 minute, this is that possible fake out if price is going to continue down, right? So normally if you get that fake out, you want price to retest this area and continue down. But if we start to close above here and hold support at that level to continue up, that's where I'd be either probably closing the full thing right here, especially if it's on the 15 minute. But right now it looks like we're trying to hold that resistance right here. So let's see if it actually does, and if it does, could possibly continue down.
Also remember that you have the Governor Bailey speaking in just a couple of seconds. So expect the volatility there too. Probably not the best time to enter a trade if you haven't already. Kind of just wait until what he says and the market kind of react to, whatever he is saying, and then trade that reaction.
Yep.
Usually what I do is when there's the press conference coming out or there's a speech coming out, I hop up to the hourly time frame, the 4-hour, the daily, and trade based off of that, instead of now trading based off the 1 minute, 5 minute. And a fun thing to do, if you've never traded like a press conference or interest rates or anything like that, is watch how the market reacts. I personally don't look at the 1 minute time frame that often, right? And I certainly do not trade based off the 1 minute time frame either. But it's fun to look at the 1 minute and the 5 minute, 15 minute, 30 minute as a press conference is happening, as a central bank official is speaking, because you will see reaction live time to whatever they're saying and the questions that are being asked, if there are any questions being asked, and how the market is reacting to it. It's quite interesting to watch. It's one of the ways that you could build up your understanding of economics. Not just fundamentals, but economics.
He's speaking now. What's that website?
You could just, Financial Juice. You could also click on the folder on Forex Factory.
Sure.
It should give you a link. There you go. Nothing here?
Let's see. Push it back to. This is July 19th, July 20th. So this gives you the live update?
Usually the folder gives you a link so you can go and look at the live update. But, that's July 20th. We're in August now.
So let's see. Okay. We'll see. Let's check out Financial Juice for now. UK projected to enter recession by Q4 of 2022. Recession will last 5 quarters. Well, what's the definition of recession for them?
Did you look at this here on the side? Going right into NFP. This isn't on Forex Factory, but it's here on Financial Juice. The U.S. Challenger layoffs. So, I guess this is what the previous was, but we did come down a bit compared to the previous. So I'm expecting NFP to not be as bad as we're expecting, or the forecast numbers are.
Wow, look at that. Job cuts surge in June 2022, up 57% from May, 59% from June 2021.
Yep.
Wow. That would have been a nice entry over here on the 5 minute.
That's the macro data that we were talking about yesterday during the live session. That regardless of whatever they're saying, whether we're in a recession or not, look at the macro data, look at what's going on in the economy. Clearly there is a recession. There are a lot of companies who are, doing layoffs and just stopping their entire recruiting process.
Yeah. This, the 15 minute as well, you create that top wick, pass the low of that candle, continue down. So that's exactly what happened. We get the fake out, we create this low, we retest the previous resistance, hold it, right, and then we continue right back down. So if anyone wanted to catch that, it's about 37, 38 pips so far. Tim, you caught it?
Alright, you guys think we're good to discuss what to expect for New York session when it opens up, and then call it a session? Because I think we've been streaming for almost an hour now. Alright, so I hope you guys were able to catch some trades here on GJ, and you pretty much had the same opportunity present itself twice within the past hour, or maybe half an hour actually.
this will be on YouTube as well, the recording. So go back and rewatch this too. Journal the trades you would have taken. Right, just learn how you would have executed on this, and that's how you get better.
That's one of my favorite days, when you get the same opportunity twice. All right, let's discuss what to expect for the rest of New York session.
Get rid of these. Rest of New York, obviously you have Bailey speaking later, or right now, and then you have unemployment claims coming out. So U.S. Employment data looks like we're jumping up a little bit, at least what they're expecting. Let's see what the previous was. See, we're getting this little gradual climb over here, so we'll see if that starts to majorly increase as time goes on, as the months go on towards the end of quarter 4 and quarter 3. We'll see what we end up getting over here.
Yeah, the market doesn't really react too much to the unemployment claims, unless again we miss the mark completely. But yeah, rest of today, from just economic calendar wise, you don't have too much coming out. So that today the big fundamental was again interest rates. Tomorrow is NFP, but there are a lot of economic data that you can look at that would get you ready for NFP tomorrow. Before we move on to the technical side, there's a question. Interest rates were increased, but pound dumped. How did we know that it was inflation? That is the sentiment. That's the article that we were just going over right now. I'm not sure if you were able to catch that with us, but I dropped a link here in the YouTube chat. And so the sentiment here is that obviously we know that interest rates were going to increase. Half basis point hikes is what we were expecting anyways, and that's what the market priced in. And then there was also a sentiment that along with the increased interest rates, which is exactly what any economy needs right now to control this massive inflation that has been going on because of the last 2 years, there is also risk of growing recession because cost of living is increasing. You have gas prices surging. You have layoffs happening on a micro level from a lot of industries. And income also over time for like the next year or so, that's going to be dropping down. So taking all of that into consideration, it's not just inflation, but it was more so about a recession and how bad can things get. Because eventually, if you get to the point in an economy where the consumer confidence drops as well, that's really going to that's the catalyst that's going to spiral your entire economy. And so eventually they will have to drop the interest rates back down to a significant level to make borrowing and all of that cheaper for their consumers so they can go out, take loans, and kind of start this economic growth, quote-unquote growth again. And then that's what would kind of shift this entire economic cycle again.
Yeah, so with the higher time frames over here, what I was pointing out, we just take a look at a little update of what ended up happening over here. We got a major flip here on GJ, right? So tapped into that 164 level almost perfectly, flip bearish now. And if you look, we had that major push from that 166 level, holding support at 161, and we come up for that short-term retracement, pricing in the rate hike increase, and now we're flipping bearish to continue down. Looking at the 4 hour, got a nice 4 hour candle close right here. This was our previous resistance. Got a previous support over here as well. Now got a little bit of a fake out, right? So can now price continue back down to that 161 level, 161 100. Looking at the 1 hour, how do you capitalize on this now, right? You're gonna need, if you look at the 30-minute more so, you have all these rejections of this area. I want a nice close below that area, and you could possibly catch something from here down to here. But you want to wait for your setups to form, right? At least on the 15-minute, right? If you guys are a beginner trader, you don't trade news, you don't trade interest rate hikes or anything like that as of yet, this is where you just journal what you would have taken through here. And then now you could possibly, based on the press conference that he's having, you could possibly be taking a sell. But this is going to be your clean move right down here for about 70 pips, 75 pips. clean move to the left. You're just basically catching the rest of this move over here. Are we going to get that today? I don't know. Maybe not, but that's where patience comes in. Because right now you're sitting in the range, and we're still sitting at the support right here. So just don't get antsy. Again, if you're a beginner trader, you missed it, do not act on the FOMO. It's okay to get FOMO because that's what makes you act on journaling the trade and like back testing it, learning how you can catch it down the road. But don't act on the FOMO now. Prepare yourself down the road.
Absolutely. And then do you want to go over gold, what to expect next?
Sure. Looks like we're stalling a little bit around this area. We do have a nice bullish candle close. We have a support being held right here, right at that previous resistance, right? This candle is starting to push up. The new 15-minute candle, we got a wick, but we keep rejecting here. I want to see what we look like in the lower time frames. See, the lower time frames, we rejected that level, right? But at the same time, we're creating a higher low. So maybe, once you get that strong engulfing 15-minute close here, candle doesn't have a bottom wick either. So are we going to keep rejecting this area? And it kind of lines up almost perfectly with that trend line. We'll see if it's even a correct trend line.
Have a good one, Donnie. See you soon.
Thanks out. See you, buddy. Great job today. So now that trend line's lining up there. Price is holding that support. This looks good to continue up to 1786. So we can either end up rejecting that area up here and continuing down, as you guys can see. Be aware of like possibly a double tap of this area, but we ended up getting more so right here. That candle formation in this area. So maybe look for something similar over here, and you could possibly take advantage of the rejection to continue down. But maybe wait for previous supports, like right here, to be broken, and then you'll have a clean move right here to take price back down to 1772. Like we said, this is just a short-term pullback for gold to continue back down. Unless we get some major fear in the market, this whole thing right here is just a short-term pullback. This is possibly a double tap of this area before we either consolidate to continue down or just continue down from here, because they're increasing rates, and since the all-time highs up here and yearly highs since the invasion of Ukraine, we've been creating lower lows and lower highs, right? So are we going to reject that level? I don't really want to take any buys if I haven't yet. I'm already in buys. But I'm definitely going to be taking profit at this area, and then you could possibly scale in if you end up getting like a close above 1786, 1790 for price to continue back up into levels like 1807. Obviously, you want to pay attention to psychological levels like 1800.
I think from a higher time frame technical perspective, bouncing off of 1680 and now breaking above the 1750 range, we are setting up for potential buy opportunities like swing and everything like that in like a couple of days or so, or probably a week or so. And from a fundamental side, that's also setting up where you have some fear now starting to kick in. As interest rates are increasing, generally that's a good thing, but again, depends on the economy, and it also depends on the economic cycle that you're in, if the economy is there to support it. So increasing the interest rates, but also there's fears of recession. There's also inflation that just continues increasing, so you're going to have to massively increase interest rates in order to control your inflation, or else it's just going to continue, right? So you have, and then obviously geopolitical stuff going on right now. So there's a lot of different factors from a fundamental perspective that are setting up, but also bringing in a little bit of market fear.
Yeah, that's a great point, because you want to look at both sides of this. right? 1680, as we've been pointing out for literally years now, we've been doing these together. We have 1680 is a major demand zone, right? And we can look at the possibility of all the rate hikes already being priced in for the year, right? And now we're getting that demand zone. People are buying gold, not to mention, Taiwan and Taiwan and Chinese tension right now, right? Along with the U.S. being involved, along with Russia, Ukraine being involved. If anything sparks physically between the U.S. and China, which I don't think is going to happen, but you never know. That could spark World War III while Russia and Ukraine are already going over there. NATO could get involved. There could be, this thing could skyrocket. So you want to look at both sides of it. Never have a main. I mean, you want to have a main bias, but at the same time, you want to have that secondary bias where you're not marrying the first bias. You're not saying like has to happen because this is what I said, or this is definitely what I think, and I'm not gonna trade against that. You got to be fluid.
Absolutely.
So does anyone have any questions? Great job on whoever took the GJ sell over here. Beautiful. All right, 15-minute, got a major bearish close. Now we're sitting in that range, right? Now you can wait for that resistance to form in this area, take advantage of New York volume, and take this thing down.
All right. Other than that, I think we're pretty much good. So that was just a quick breakdown of the charts, called out some trades live, and then also giving you guys an outlook of what to expect for New York session, and also just higher time frames for the next couple of days or so. So it is Thursday, so we just had interest rates come out. Tomorrow's going to be NFP. The market has moved a lot, just this week and even last week. So just keep that in mind when you're looking at higher time frames. If there are massive movements, obviously those have to be corrected. So don't go into tomorrow into NFP and just end up over trading or risking kind of losing everything that you just made in the last couple of days or so.
Posting this on Instagram.
All right, awesome. So other than that, we will see you guys on Monday, right? Or are we moving to Sunday now for the breakdowns?
I believe I could do Sunday. I know we're doing Meg's family scheduled this like whale watching thing on Sunday. I got to find out what time we're actually doing it, but I could do it in the morning if it's not too early. But if anything, definitely Monday.
All right. But either way, we'll just end up posting the weekly outlook for you guys, and then we'll continue the live sessions next week as well. If you guys have any questions in the meantime, feel free to reach out to either of us. Fastest way to get a response would be on Instagram at SharmaFX for me, and then for Stefanos is StefanosFX28. Other than that,